So big 1,000 Bitcoin have added billions of Bitcoin in 2024. Well, they've bought billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in 2024. And despite Bitcoin rallying from $15,000 in this 2022 to being worth over $50,000 in 2024, retail interest in Bitcoin on Google search trends is nearly at a 4-year low. So this, begs the question, are we watching the first Bitcoin bull market that is actually led by the Bitcoin whales? Well, today, that is the question we're going to be exploring. And we're going to be doing that by having a look at some really interesting charts I have found. So the first chart I want to look at is the Google search trends of Bitcoin. So we can see here we have two boxes on this chart highlighted in red, okay? The first box is actually way back here in 2020, and this is looking at the first time or the last time that Bitcoin was above $50,000 in price. So we could see at the time then, Google search trends was above 90. Now, again, today, Bitcoin is at the same price. It's above $50,000 at the time of recording. And I want you to notice the difference on the Google search trends. It's literally below 20, okay? And Google search trends was above 90 in 2021. So above 90 is like this euphoric kind of bull market level that you see earlier in the year when everybody was talking about ChatGPT and AI. We could actually see pretty clearly on all of the Google data that Google search trends for AI and ChatGPT was at like all-time highs. So this is kind of signifying a euphoric bull market. Whenever you're above that 75 to 80 level on Google search trends, you're in the middle of a massive bull market on whatever that asset or that thing is. So right now, Google search trends for Bitcoin is below 20. Okay, and this is the same level it was in 2020 when Bitcoin was at about $10,000. So this kind of shows just how far we've come in the Bitcoin space. Now, I want to go through a couple of article headlines here before we look at the most interesting chart that I think I've found on this topic. So we can see here, Bitcoin is soaring above $50,000 without retail FOMO and high leverage. So this is obviously a great thing for Bitcoin that we're not seeing a huge amount of leverage in the Bitcoin space. Now, this is where we're going to start talking about the Bitcoin whales and having a look at how much Bitcoin these whales have accumulated. So we can see here, this is a chart of the number of addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin. And we can see for at least 6 months here, this kind of just chopped sideways. All throughout late 2023, Bitcoin was rallying a lot, but we could see this amount didn't really change a lot until early 2024. This chart changed significantly. We can see that over 77 new wallets with more than 1,000 Bitcoin were added. Okay, so this all happened very quickly in the beginning of 2024, and we're watching whales pile into Bitcoin. So again, this is really bullish. This is, partially being driven by the fact that we do have these Bitcoin ETFs. I want to have a look at another couple of charts that highlights how aggressively these Bitcoin whales are buying. So we can see this is another different article from Crypto Slate. Bitcoin whales on the rise as numbers hit 3-year high as ETFs join the cohort. So this is, again, a very important point. The ETFs, they're only joining the cohort, okay? The Bitcoin whales have been quietly accumulating for around 6 to 12 months now. And this is what you kind of see in bear markets. So we can see this number of Bitcoin whales bottomed out halfway through 2023, and it was grinding higher all throughout the last 6 months of 2023. And we can see this most recent parabolic run that it has gone through in early 2024. So the whales are accumulating Bitcoin, but I want to, in a second, zoom out a little bit and have a look at what this means for the Bitcoin market cycle that we are in right now. Before we do that, I want to quickly have a look at this chart here. This is showing the amount of Bitcoin withdrawn off exchanges, I believe. So in the red bars, This is the withdrawals from exchanges, and the green bars are the deposits on exchanges. So we can see here that have a look at the massive big red bars in January and early February 2024. So this was when Bitcoin had that 20% correction. Just after the Bitcoin ETF launch, you'll remember most people were, all the Bitcoin critics were out in arms over the past couple of weeks. They were saying, look, Bitcoin's crashed. Bitcoin peaked at $49,000 when the ETF launched. Bitcoin's now going to fail, and this ETF launch marks another top in the price of Bitcoin. But we can see that was the narrative over those past 3 to 4 weeks. But let's have a look at the data. The data shows that whales were withdrawing more Bitcoin off exchanges than they have in the past year. They have been aggressively pulling Bitcoin off exchanges, signified by this data here. So let's move on and have a look at what this means for the broader market cycle, because I get lots of questions. Lots of people ask me, is this bull market going to be different? The whales are in Bitcoin right now. So what does this mean? Well, let's have a look at this chart right here. We can see that whenever the whales start aggressively accumulating Bitcoin, this looks as if it normally marks bottoms in the price of Bitcoin. Again, very limited data set here. But I like to have a look at 2018, for example. We can see that the Bitcoin whales, they weren't really buying too much throughout the first half of 2018 when we had that bear market. But when Bitcoin crashed from 6K to 3K in December 2018, the number of whales actually grew aggressively. So they essentially marked the bottom of Bitcoin. And we know that Bitcoin never revisited those $3,000 levels, despite it having a pretty fast and pretty aggressive crash to $4,000 in the 2020 March crash, when all assets all around the world crashed. So today it kind of looks as if something similar might be repeating to, the 2017 and the 2018 cycle. The whales are accumulating aggressively again. Does this mean that Bitcoin has definitely bottomed and we are now actually starting a new bull market? Nobody knows what exactly is happening in the Bitcoin space, but something we get asked about a little bit regarding Bitcoin market cycles is, will the whales actually create a Bitcoin bull market where we don't see one of these parabolic blow-off tops? Well, that's a really interesting question. And we have the chart of Bitcoin on screen right now. We can see in 2013 and 2017, we saw these really parabolic bull markets. And that was because these Bitcoin bull markets were being driven by retail speculators. Think about it. How many nation states or how many public companies were buying Bitcoin during those early bull markets? There were none. And then obviously the 2021 Bitcoin market cycle was a little bit different. We didn't quite have a parabolic blow-off top, but some people have speculated that is because China banned Bitcoin in 2021. And the reason we got that kind of second strange top was because FTX was selling paper Bitcoin. And that's why we briefly broke a new all-time high and hit that $69,000 level. But that was a little bit different because we had FTX sitting on 80,000 paper contracts of Bitcoin, and they actually held zero. So what's going to happen in the next Bitcoin bull market? We would love to hear your thoughts on what you think is going to happen in the next Bitcoin bull market. And if you do want to learn what the actual billionaires think about what's going to happen in the future of Bitcoin, we were lucky enough to recently interview Michael Saylor. After this live stream is finished, I'm going to pop a link on screen just about there that's going to take you straight to that video. So I hope you enjoy our interview with Michael Saylor and enjoy the rest of your day.